Hello and welcome to Tech Retrospective. Today we are doing a video I've been excited for weeks. We are doing part one of our two-part unboxing series on 32 years of Windows history. Today we'll be covering all of the 9X versions of Windows. Next time we'll be covering all the NT Windows. And let's get into it. When it was announced in 1983, Windows wasn't even called Windows. It was first called Interface Manager. Can you imagine that? Interface Manager 95, Interface Manager ME, Interface Manager 10? Sounds so weird. At this point, Windows was more so a shell for DOS than a standalone operating system, and was quite limited. It did feature applications that we still use versions of today, like a calculator, Notepad, and Paint. But Windows 1.0 was very limited in its uses. It didn't even have the ability to overlay applications. Windows 1 wasn't all that successful, but it would lead to great things down the road. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a copy of Windows 1 to open for you guys today because copies can go for $600 plus, and that's not really in the budget for this video. So we're going to move on to Windows 2. Okay, so looking at the 386 box, this is boring. This is very much from the days when everyone was inspired by IBM. It's very flat business software looking, a lot less exciting than later versions would get. This box is unsealed. It's one of our only ones we have that isn't sealed. So bear with that, sorry about that. Couldn't find a copy that was still sealed. I'm excited to look in it. We've got some really cool stuff on the back talking about all the amazing features of Windows 386. You have your system requirements on the side. Those are quite enjoyable to read through. It does also contain both 5 1/4 and 3 1/2 inch discs inside, or maybe I should say 3 1/4 and 5 1/2 inch to annoy people again. And let's get into it. Let's see. Also, it's very heavy, and I'm assuming this is why. Wow. Microsoft Windows User Guide. It's quite comical to me that a shell that simple needs a manual this big. This is huge. I mean, you get Windows 10 now and it doesn't even come with anything. It's just, you know, a stick. This is kind of absurd. We were spoiled back in the day with stuff like that. I love manuals and stuff. And not only do you get that, you get a second one, which is Microsoft Windows, using Microsoft Windows 386. So I guess this is more of like a quick start guide kind of deal. Yeah, it's the basics. And inside we have a couple additional pieces of paper. Let's see. We have Microsoft Windows Training Materials, making Windows a class act. Huh. Then we have Microsoft Windows 386 version 2.0 device compatibility list. Oh, that's super cool. You can see some pretty nostalgic devices on there. Then we have Microsoft Excel, the powerful spreadsheet that unleashes the power of I like how flat and businessy this is, but it uses the word unleash. Oh, this is pretty cool. So is this, I don't know if that's, I don't think that's included. No, it's a separate thing. This is an ad for it saying, hey, now that you bought our thing, buy our thing. Wonderful. What's next? We have a packet. Everything else is in there. The rest of the box is empty. It's seen better days, let's say. I'd like to take it off screen and try and read what it says on this lip. Because it's kind of beat up and that makes it kind of hard to read. Carefully read the Microsoft license agreement on the front of this packet before opening. No thanks. You don't tell me what to do, Microsoft. Okay, we'll go through the discs after. Let's see the other stuff first. We have another pamphlet from Microsoft. This is the quick reference guide. So this is the even quicker guide than the other one. And then this is registration card, a very large registration card. That's pretty cool. And everything that's left over is the discs. How many discs do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get 8 discs. And some of these are in pretty good condition by the looks of it. Some of them are very much not. It's kind of interesting. I'm wondering why this disc looks virtually pristine, and then you got discs like this. That's kind of interesting. Same thing here. Nice disc, not so nice disc. But that's very cool. I like having the original floppy disk for Windows. Windows 2.0 was released in 1987. The version we have here today is the slightly later Windows 386, a rebrand of Windows 2.11 specifically for 386 CPUs. A version of Windows 2 was also released specifically for 286 systems. The big benefit of using Windows 386 is its use of the virtual 8086 mode of the 386, allowing you to run several DOS programs at the same time, each with 640K of memory. Wow. One of the best improvements of Windows 2 was the ability to overlay windows that came with version 2.03. Finally! This edition was the final straw for Apple, who sued Microsoft for copying the Macintosh's operating system. You can still overlay Windows today, so guess how that ended up. Alright, here we are with Windows 3. And my favorite part about this is it says right here, "New! Breaks the 640K barrier. Unleash the full power of your PC." I don't know what it is with old Microsoft and the word unleashed. Alright, so this box is sealed. So this is the oldest one that we have sealed. And we are going to break that seal. After all these years, we are breaking into it. This box has not seen the light of day, ever. I'm pretty sure it did not think it would have to wait till 2019 to be opened. There's some stuff rustling around in it. Okay. It's a little bit smushed on the top, but not too bad. Okay. Ooh, we get a nice outer cardboard to hold it all. There are just a ton of little pieces of something in here. They're all over. It's like little pieces of plastic wrapper. I'm very confused and very annoyed because that's going to take forever to get off our table. I don't know if the last box we opened had one of these and we just didn't get it. What is all this stuff? Something plastic has very much disintegrated. It's not this one. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh. So, I don't even know what it was originally supposed to be. Probably like the like cellophane to hold the floppy disks, I'm guessing. But I don't know how much you guys can see this stuff because it's clear, but it's everywhere. We're gonna have to like stop after this and clean our table, but I'm gonna show it to you after I push some of it to the side. We have a plastic covered device list of what devices are supported. Notably, considerably larger than the previous version of Windows. And then we have Be a Winner, $25,000 exceptional prizes. I wonder if I can enter. Also, this registration card is also covered in pieces of plastic. I really hope this isn't like a trend with all of them. That would be terrible. Okay. Here are the discs. How many discs for Windows 3 do we have? 1, 2. Every time I touch them, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 discs this time. All right, and get the most out of Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows Resource Kit. We don't have that. Maybe we should get it. Okay. Then we have the Question and Answers book, which is also covered in pieces of plastic. And last we have the User's Guide, which, believe it or not, is the only thing in here not covered in little plastic bits because it's covered in its own plastic, and I guess that doesn't stick to it. And I am going to break the seal on that as well. I figured we're in for a penny, in for a pound, might as well open everything. Let's look through this humongous manual. Ooh, words. I don't know really what to comment on it. It's just a manual. It's nice to have, but I'm sure there are scans of this online at this point, so if you really need it, you don't need the big bulky manual. All right, I'm gonna clean this table off. That's your transition. Windows 3.0 from 1990 was much more successful than previous versions, selling 4 million copies in its first year compared to under 2 million copies of Windows sold up until that point. The most notable feature of Windows 3 was Protected Mode, which gives applications access to several megabytes of memory. Windows 3 also introduced virtual memory and loadable virtual device drivers, or VXDs, which allow Windows to share resources between DOS applications. VXDs would be the primary driver standard for Windows up until Windows ME, the latest OS we will be looking at today. Windows 3 also featured improvements to the user interface and was generally more responsive due to many crucial tasks being rewritten from C to assembly. Okay, Windows 3.1. You'll notice a very different design than the previous boxes. It's less businessy, and you have the very colorful, nostalgic Windows logo. This is one of my favorite logos ever. I love this logo. It's a shame they don't use it anymore. As far as I know, this is the first product to use it. There we go. Let us hope there's not a ton of little shards of plastic in this one too. Okay, so you will see it is, in fact, new. Here's the back of the box, going over all the fun stuff. Makes your PC easier to use. That's probably true. I will give them that. Okay. Here we go. We got another big piece of cardboard inside. I'm seeing no plastic bits so far, so that's a good sign. I'll move this off to the side and we'll first take a look at the user's guide. Considerably thinner. I'm not sure if that's because they're cheaping out on us or because the software's gotten a lot more easy to use. It's hard to say. But you also get a lot more graphics in this one. I would much prefer a manual like this than the others. You get a lot more graphics to show you directly where you're going. I like this manual. All right, what's in the cardboard box? A lot of things. All right, your guide to service and support for users of Microsoft Windows. Interesting. We'll move the discs off to the side, save those for later. Wow. Want the address of the most important person at Microsoft? So do we. Oh, that was off screen. Oh no. So do we. Oh, that's legitimately funny. What's it say? You're our most important partner, and when you send us your address, you know what, Microsoft? Microsoft from 1992, I'll give you this. That is legitimately a little funny. Then we have our list of software and hardware that it supports. Again, larger and thicker than the last one. And then what is this? Wow, that art is some like next level vaporwave aesthetic. I really like it. A catalog of products. I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. We figured it would take a wizard to make your job easier. Okay. This is a little crusty. Sound Blaster 16 ASP. Oh man. Let me skip. So you got ads and stuff in here too for other companies. Auto Sketch. Monotype fonts. MIDI soft sound. Oh, it's not surprising WordPerfect users are switching to Microsoft Word for Windows. They help define it. Okay. I really shouldn't be spending too much time on this, but I'm having so much. What? Perfect Skin, $999. I gotta be honest, that's a bit of a tough sell. I thought it was like a skincare product at first, but no, it's like a photo editing thing. That's super cool. I'm honestly going to sit there and read through that entire thing after we're done with this. Here are our discs. Notice we do have the 5 1/4 inch versions. Very cool. All right, that's awesome. Can't wait to install this on one of our Tandy systems. Even though it's named like it's just a small improvement to Windows 3, Windows 3.1 is a major overhaul to Windows 3 and probably should have just been called Windows 4. Released in 1992, Windows 3.1 featured a graphical overhaul, support for the Windows mouse in windowed DOS applications, true type fonts, or what you see is what you get publishing, and my favorite, Minesweeper. Windows 3.1 also dropped support for Real Mode, which was the settings matching the configuration of the original IBM 5150, running an 8086 CPU at 4.77 megahertz. I absolutely love this box. I love the fact that they use the sky theme on the back. Makes it look, even though it's all quite similar in the actual format to the Windows 3.1 box, the blue in the background makes it stand out so much more. Also, you've got this big bright red sticker here advertising that includes an Internet Explorer starter kit for free, which is a $25 value. And just in case you didn't know it had Internet Explorer, you also have right here where it says Internet Explorer. All right. Oh, this is super cool. I love Windows 95. It's not my favorite OS, but it's up there. And there was a hole in this one cellophane, so I'm gonna just rip it from there. This is an upgrade. I don't know if I've said that for the last one. This is an upgrade. It's not the base version, so you have to upgrade from the previous version, but I mean, we've got plenty of them. Right. Okay, whoa. That's a lot to unpack. We have our discs. Oh my gosh, Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. We have a registration card. All right, Microsoft, now I'm kind of mad. You're using the same joke over again. Now I got two of them. Get some new material. Microsoft Internet Explorer Starter Kit. Wait, I thought the Internet Explorer Starter Kit was like a piece of software to help you. No, it's just a book, and not even a good book. It's like just another manual. How is this worth $25? Unless there are actual discs that pair with it, but I don't think so. So here is your actual manual. It says introducing Microsoft Windows 95. And you get a... Man, I could just stare at that for a while. It is considerably smaller than even the Windows 3.1 manual. I suppose Windows 95 was a big step up on usability. It's still pretty cool. And now we have our discs, which come in a bunch of different packages. I wonder why they're separated. You're important to us. Register today. I don't think I will, Microsoft. Let's see. Disk. Uh-oh. Okay. I just read something on that disk and it's kind of scary. It said it was disk 11? How many disks do we have? I suppose it makes sense. This was at the point where a lot of software did just start to come out on CD. And I know there are many versions of 95 on CD. I think 3.1 was actually the first available on CD, though that wasn't common. But I definitely see the benefit compared to... Let's see if I can do a nice little thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little too slanted, Jacob. Let's fix that. You know what? Close enough. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I can't even show them all. 16, 17 discs. Wow. That's so many. Yeah, I definitely think the CD version has its benefits. Windows 95 from 1995 was possibly the biggest software launch ever. All around the world, people lined up around the block for midnight releases of this OS. It sold 40 million copies in its first year on sale. People at the time were very excited for the new features brought by 95, many of which actually were introduced in the experimental Windows NT, like 32-bit operating using Win32 and the Start menu. Windows 95 also was a great pair with the blossoming internet, with support for internet browsers and MSN messaging. Windows 95 also introduced the DirectX API for 3D gaming and plug-and-play drivers. It's time for Windows 98. This is another upgrade. It's got the new version thing on it going again. It's kind of weird because this is essentially the same box as the Windows 95 box, except now it's slightly darker with the blue. And I think that's the real only difference outside of the actual wording. Although it does say we got the CD version. I think my favorite part about this box, I've been looking at this thing for like the past week or whatever while I've been waiting for others to come in, is it says on it, simply plug USB peripherals into your PC's universal serial bus, parentheses, USB, port, and you're ready to go. No rebooting required. Wow. All right. It's also got a bunch of information at the top here. I'm not sure what that's all about. You got your like product numbers and some crazy ID numbers. I'm guessing from the specific retailer, these stickers on top, not from Microsoft themselves. Makes you wonder, where did this box come from? What store was it sold in and not sold? Because it obviously didn't sell because it's sealed. Was it in a Circuit City? A Best Buy? A Comp USA? We'll never know. Okay. There we go. That took a little bit of wiggling. Okay, here's our disc. We'll get to that in a moment. That's very yellow. It is a new registration card. They're not using the same joke. Instead, it says, don't forget, if you're registered online, you don't need to send this registration card. That's not very funny. Next, it says, get a free month of internet access from MSN. Wow. Start clicking here. Microsoft Windows 98, your PC, and the internet. Some things just click. Whoa. The colors on this camera are going to have a field day with this one. It's easy, fun, fast, and free. America Online, 50 free hours. It's all new. AOL 4.0. Whoa. This looks like one of those like Scholastic book catalogs. And here's our manual. Getting started, Windows 98. I do notice this manual's very bent. Looks pretty similar to the Windows 95 one. They probably didn't have to change all that much, honestly. And here's our disc. It's in one of these cardboard sleeves that honestly I'm not a big fan of. I prefer a jewel case. Oops. And there's our disc. It looks okay. Nothing crazy. Later versions of Windows get very crazy with the disc patterns. And there's our code key. Please don't steal it. On your honor. Although Windows 98 didn't sell quite as many copies as 95 did, it was still a massive success, selling 25 million copies in its first year. Windows 98's big selling points were its full integration of Internet Explorer 4 throughout the operating system, true USB support, support for hard drives larger than 2 gigabytes thanks to the introduction of FAT32, and it even supported a wide range of accessibility features like the magnifier. Okay, here's the Windows ME box, and to say something positive about Windows ME, I think this is my favorite box design they've done. It's pretty great. You got this deep blue with your different like squares, I guess. It very much reminds me of a lot more modern, like minimalistic design elements. It looks quite nice. I like it. See, there's one thing good about ME. It's got a nice box. We've got the back here. Notice it's pointing you saying if you're a home user, use Windows ME. If you're not a home user, if you're a business, instead, you should use Windows 2000. So this box is actually opened already, so I can't break the seal on this one. We probably could have, if we digged far enough, found a sealed copy, but it's Windows ME. Who cares? Here's our manual. It's upside down. Whoops. Quick Start Guide, Windows ME. This is quite small and a very different form factor. I don't know if there's another manual in there, like a big one. If this is all you get, that's a lot less than before. Let's see. The disc is stuck. How do I open this? Oh, I just slide it out the side. There's nothing else in here. Whoa. Okay, here's our Windows ME disc, actually in a jewel case. That's quite nice. I'm trying to get it out without spoiling it too much, but hopefully the camera picks this up. Sometimes like holograms and stuff don't pick up very well in cameras, but Look at that. That's nuts. I don't know if we're gonna have to put like a seizure warning on this. That's crazy looking. And if you get in the right angle, you can see the actual, Windows logo. If you get in another angle, you can see the Windows ME name. That's pretty cool. I like it. And that's all you get. They have, between 98 and this, they've super toned it down. You get way less stuff in the box. Unless we're just missing something, because again, this box was sold to us open. So, I don't know. Infamously considered by many to be the worst OS of all time, ME is most well known for its constant crashing, numerous bugs, and a data protection utility that corrupted your hard drive. Now, I'm not saying ME had nothing going for it. Once properly patched, it was a fairly decent upgrade from Windows 98, featuring support for many new media and internet standards, and introducing the world to Windows Movie Maker. Alright, thanks so much for watching part 1 of our 2-part series unboxing 32 years of Windows history. Be on the lookout for some of these boxes in part 2. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And I'll see you guys next time.